Welcome back to the studio for CEO Question Time, and I am joined by Jordan Levin of OpenBet. How are you, Jordan?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. How are you enjoying the show so far?
It's been great. It's good to be back here after a couple of years off. It's good to have everyone sort of back under the same roof and, the energy, really going. So it's been great, yeah.
Now, you've seen OpenBet through a transition period. What's that been like for you?
It's been great. I mean, OpenBet is a brand that's well known certainly in the UK betting industry and globally as sort of being one of the key go-to leading platforms for sports betting technology. And we really have a lot of momentum going now. We've gone through a lot of transition over the last few years with corporate acquisitions, changes in structure. And now as we head into our next phase, as we're being acquired by the Endeavor group of companies, it's blue skies ahead for us, and we're really hitting our stride with continued momentum.
And so Endeavor's acquisition of OpenBet is about to complete.
Yeah.
How is that in terms of setting up for business success?
I think it's going to take things to the next level of consumer interaction and consumer engagement. For those listeners not familiar with the Endeavor group of companies, they're a sports media and entertainment business, owning brands like the UFC, a joint venture that owns part of the EuroLeague basketball, the biggest talent representation business in the world, one of the biggest media and events productions businesses in the world. So it's really taking OpenBet into new territory where we can really leverage their prowess, their global reach with our betting and consumer engagement capabilities to power our customers to really create something special. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. And when is that due to close? When's that?
Sometime in Q3. We're getting through the regulatory approval process, which is slow, especially in my home country, the U.S., where the regulators take their time. They've got backlogs and bandwidth issues, and similar to most transactions happening in the industry today, there's been a bit of a delay in terms of the paperwork, but yeah, we're on track to complete it in Q3, and can't happen soon enough from my perspective.
And so this is a good example of a media business moving into open betting. What possibilities does this create for OpenBet and the industry moving forward? Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an opportunity for us to deliver what we do best, which is sports betting technology and content, but doing it in a way where we can also partner with a next level of media and consumer engagement, leveraging the Endeavor reach and the Endeavor network. And that's everything from like event productions that they do, certain media companies that they have deep level partnerships with, where we can deliver a betting experience as part of something much bigger. We've already started working on things like that. We're actually already in a partnership with UFC, which they own outright, to develop some new compelling betting experiences, which we're rolling out in the US market literally this week. So we're already sort of proving out the value proposition, and there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, I mean, Disney has been showing some interest in the sector.
They have.
So do you think this is becoming part of a wider trend?
I do. I think sports media and media in general will continue to look for new ways to make their propositions sticky for their consumers. And sports betting, as it's becoming more and more legalized, regulated around the world, is another compelling way for them to do it. If you own, whether you're Disney or whether you're Discovery, whether you're a media station in Latin America, anything, right? Why would you want your consumers going elsewhere to engage when they want to make a punt on a sports event? You'd want them in your properties. You'd want them on your digital properties. You'd want them in your physical properties if you have them. And I think it's just a natural extension and a natural sort of evolution of the ecosystem that we're going to see here in the next few years. And Endeavor, now soon to be with OpenBet, can be at the forefront of that.
Now, we've seen marketing spends hitting all-time high costs. What can the industry do to mitigate those high rising costs, do you think?
So those costs are arguably in some jurisdictions around the world out of control and unsustainable. Right now, a lot of operators are in land grab mode. I believe that will over time abate and normalize. It'll result in some level of fallout and consolidation in some of these markets. It's just a simple numbers game. You have a certain population size, certain amount of that population is gonna game, right? a market will only support so many operators. So over time, I do believe that will abate. What we do is deliver, the product, the technology to help our operators be successful, whether that's, at the event, like for example, Grand National ran last week, and once again, our platform worked perfectly for all of our customers. It's one of the highest volume betting events in the world. That's what we do. We deliver that. We deliver specialty odds as well. We deliver specialty betting solutions as well. So the things that we can do are things like that ultimately can lower the marketing costs for our customers because there's compelling content. If that makes sense.
So to an extent, you're allowing it to sort of play into your strengths as a supplier?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what OpenBet does. OpenBet is a leading supplier to tier one, bookmakers, WLAs, and commercial operators around the world. And we do that not by accident. We do that because we deliver sustainable solutions, technology, product, and content. So, they still have to market, of course, but that marketing, when they're going out and spending marketing dollars to bring users to their sites and to their mobile apps, they know that they can count on us as a reliable technology solutions provider, that the system will work.
Now, you acquired a pioneering business in Sportcast last year.
We did.
How do you plan to build on that?
So we already have. It's hard to believe it's almost been a year since we acquired Sportcast. And for those of the viewers not familiar with Sportcast, they're a leading provider today of same game parlay solutions on a pre-match basis, and we're now in the middle of expanding that to an in-play proposition as well. And there's just been huge demand from operators around the world, not confined to any one jurisdiction, but around the world. And we will continue to push that. It's fully integrated with our system. We also allow operators to take that solution on a bespoke basis. So if they have their own technology or even technology from a competitor of ours, we still are able to plug in the Sportcast solution. And the uptake has been great. And the roadmap and the demand for the product is just unprecedented. So we can't hire people fast enough to work on that solution and keep driving it.
And how are you working through that? What's your hiring strategy like?
It's hard, right? There's a high level of global competition for workers in almost every industry, and that's even amplified by the fact that over 80% of our workers are technology workers, engineers, and people that work around product technology delivery, operational support. So there's high demand for talent. We have two. I think we have two advantages. Really, well, more than two. But just to name them off the top of my head, one is that we're geographically diversified. So we have large development centers in Athens, here in the UK, in Canada, in India, in Singapore, in Ukraine, and many other sites also around the world. So we hire strategically around the globe, so we're able to hit the key hotspots. And that's always been a sort of a legacy of OpenBet. We've really always had a global dispersed development team. So that's one advantage that we have. Another is our value proposition for team members. You get to work on cutting edge sports betting technology in what I think is an extremely exciting industry already today. And then when you layer the Endeavor piece on top of that, getting into media and entertainment more broadly, it's really compelling. So I think we have a great value proposition for our team members, and we have a great culture too. We have a fun culture. We work hard, but we also play hard.
Brilliant. So if anyone's looking for a job out there, you heard it here first. Great place to work. And let's talk about content. How important is content as a differentiator for sports betting operators going forward?
It's critical. I mean, back to what you asked on the marketing front before, a way for operators to cut through is to offer differentiated sports content. And that's why we've gotten into this space more aggressively over the last few years. You mentioned the Sportcast acquisition as a great example. We have other things that we're developing in our organic pipeline. We also don't have even close to captivity at innovation, so we also form a lot of strategic partnerships so that we can deliver our solutions through our global distribution to our customers by partnering with some of the most innovative minds, around sports betting and sports content. So it's a vital part of the value chain, and as operators look to differentiate themselves in their markets, content is a key way to differentiate. I actually come from the casino side of the world. I've been in this industry for 16 years, and in particular on the slot side, and there was always a saying there, which is just content is king. At the end of the day, you cut through all the technology. How do you differentiate? It has to be a compelling piece of content for the consumer to interact with. But ultimately, if the technology is like the foundation of the house, if the technology is not working, it doesn't matter what the all the accoutrements and all the finishings look like in the kitchen and in the bathrooms and in the backyard.
Thank you for that. And the sportsbook supplier space feels like it's getting smaller. How will OpenBet maintain its leading position?
Yeah, I mean, OpenBet's, OpenBet, not by mistake, has survived as a solution and as a brand in this industry for 25 years. So we've seen all the ups and downs in terms of consolidation, deconsolidation, fragmentation, et cetera. So, we're highly confident that by continuing to do what we do and doing it for, the leading brands, in the world, we will continue to have our place on the podium.
And what's next for OpenBet? You spoke a little bit there about geographical expansion. Is there anything else that we should be looking out for?
I don't want to give it all away, but geographic expansion, not only from our teams but from our markets, is a key thing. So you'll see us expanding, sort of more assertively into Eastern Europe here soon, in the very near term. Some really interesting things happening in Latin America. Obviously, the U.S. most people know about. We continue to invest and have a high degree of focus there, and opportunities in APAC and Africa as well. So we really see a lot of geographic expansion. OpenBet historically has been known as sort of a solution for UK and Western Europe, but it's much, much more than that now. And we'll continue to push the pedal to the metal, as they say.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah, you haven't heard that one?
No, I haven't heard that one.
It's a U.S. thing, I guess. Pedal to the metal. It's like when you're driving a car and you go.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll allow you to use that in some of your future interviews today. All right.
A note to self.
Yeah, exactly.
So you said you've been in the industry for 16 years.
Yeah.
What have been the biggest sort of notable changes that you've seen?
Oh God, it's how long do we have here? I mean, there's
about 2 minutes.
Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, I remember from a digital, or back then they called it the interactive side of the industry. So I joined in 06, 07. So my first ice show would have been January, February of 2007, and it was out at the old Earl's Court site in West London then. And the interactive industry was very different then. It was the Wild West. The U.S. had just sort of passed a law kicking out a lot of the, call it, gray market operators. You had a lot of people figuring out what's next, what to do. Europe was somewhat unstructured. The UK did not have a good regulatory framework. So I look at the industry then, and then I look at it now where the trend is, decidedly to, regulated markets and, regulated ways of operating. That would be the biggest sort of sea change if I had to pick one, over the last 15, 16 years. Yeah.
And what are you looking forward to seeing at the show?
So I've already seen some good stuff. It's obviously it's a much different show than it was the last time this was held, a little over 2 years ago. But it's really there's some interesting things around the show in terms of products that are being showcased. But for me, it's more about an opportunity to catch up with people, talk to our customers, meet some new potential customers, and just continue to be able to talk about our solutions.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, Jordan.
Thank you.